This next proposal deals with how we think about 2-year and 4-year institutions. For a variety of reasons within our bylaws and in a variety of places within our bylaws, we define if an institution is a 2-year or 4-year institution and how that impacts a student athlete. Oftentimes, if they're a transfer student athlete and we're trying to decide for purposes of identification or residency or those sorts of things, are you coming from a 2-year institution or from a 4-year institution? That designation or categorization has gotten a bit trickier as higher education has changed, and many institutions now offer both 2-year and 4-year degrees. So it's not quite as clear-cut as it once was. So under this proposal, we would essentially say that an institution that a student transfers from, we would define its status as either a 2-year or a 4-year institution through a couple of steps. So the first would be if that institution sponsors athletics. Does it compete in an athletic association that's made for 4-year institutions or that's made for 2-year institutions? As an example, we see many junior colleges that now offer several 4-year degrees, but still choose to compete in athletics within the National Junior College Athletic Association. So under this proposal, we would defer to their choice to be recognized as a 2-year institution, and we would state that that student athlete who's transferring from there would be treated as though they're transferring from a 2-year institution. The same would be true of a student athlete who's transferring from an institution that competes in a 4-year athletic association and offers both 4 and 2-year degrees. Now, we also know that that won't fit all situations. Some institutions may not sponsor athletics at all, or in a couple of cases, there are athletic associations that don't clearly distinguish between 2-year and 4-year institutions and have them all compete against one another. As an example, that might include the USCAA. So in those situations, if there's not a clear distinguishing line in terms of deferring to the institution's athletic association choices, what we would then rely on is that particular student athlete and the degree that they were pursuing at that prior institution. So we'd rely on their official transcript and what it stated in terms of the degree they were pursuing. If they were pursuing an associate degree at that prior institution, we would treat it as such. If they were pursuing a baccalaureate degree at that prior institution, we would treat it accordingly. Again, primarily for the purposes of things like, did the student previously identify a 2- or 4-year institution? And that helps us determine things like, how does residency apply?